Hello beautiful people and welcome back to a great video in which you guys requested me to evaluate all 4 heavy troopers, and you see right now I am absolutely ready with the newest heavy trooper with max modules, but you guys also asked me to explain you the chips for these heavy troopers. So I would like to make this video not in a simple approach because that will make no sense to make such a video, but I also don't want to go extremely complicated because I'm also afraid I'm gonna lose you on the way. So that's why in the next video we're gonna exclusively talk about the heavy troopers. We're gonna try to classify them as far as possible, but what I'm gonna do better there is actually tell you for which heavy trooper can be used with which heroes or with which units set up. And in this video let's simply focus on these chips. And I know exactly why you guys asked me to do that, because everybody is so curious how this new heavy trooper set looks like. And it's gonna be an awesome one because I'm gonna explain you this chip not just with words, but we'll put it in a battle. I'm gonna show you the advantages to use this set, but I will also show you directly the workaround for that. So you guys don't get super stressed, oh my god, I need this set ASAP till next battle. So first of all, let's start with this topic right here, which sets are the best. Now I'm gonna put the video on the screen, and in this video I deeply explain every single set for the heavy trooper except the last one, and that's why we are doing this video. And I highly recommend to go in there and watch that video because it's super important. But here we're gonna start with this information. So the best heavy trooper set right now is this set right here, the Shashmir, or the other set, which is the Sea Stone you see me having here on the red heavy trooper. These are the best. Now let's start with the first topic. How exactly should I approach this? Now granted, what you see here on my yellow and red heavy trooper are full sets. Now granted, this is an extremely nice to have, but you also have to be aware of several factors. So first of all, in order to reach something like this, what you see on the screen, you're gonna move towards a few thousand of dollars, which in other words, it's not a realistic goal for you because you won't reach it. And that's why this video is so important, because I'm gonna explain you how to approach and how to build these sets for the heavy trooper. So again, you see me with these perfect sets, having the sets bonus and everything, and I'm super happy with them. But you also gonna see me approaching this exactly from this perspective, which this video is highlighting. In other words, let's ignore the fact that I would like to have a full set, because that will gonna make everything pretty much expensive, and I'm gonna mainly focus on the stats. And the vast majority of players in Top War do it exactly this way. You see me doing it here for the heavy trooper, which I use for Navy, and you also see me doing it here, mixing up the sets. So how do you approach this? Now let's have a look here at my Navy. So the way you start is you would like to aim to get a high fire rate on one of these chips. Now granted, for me personally, the limit is, or what I'm recommending is between 6 and maximum 8%. You don't need more than that, to be honest, because there are also a few more very important stats like the DEF and so on. So that's why you see me here with this chip having 5.92 attack speed. And the second one for slot number 2 has a 2.0. Now granted, you have to pay attention when you do your chips, especially for slots 1, 2, and 3. Sometimes you will gonna use a blue chip or a purple one. There's no problem. Important thing, you get a bit high fire rate. But you also have to focus on the other stats. Now when it comes down to the slots 4, 5, and 6, you have to reach the best units buff possible. Like in this case right here, I have a DF for Navy, which is great. I have a Navy attack, which is great. But I have the Air Force attack, which is not quite something good for Navy, to be honest, but I have also all units HP. So that's a good set. I won't change that. When we go into this chipset right here, you see me with the Army attack, while this set is used on the Navy. So yeah, that won't help me. You see me also with the Army DEF. That won't help me either. But just those two stats right there, the DEF for all the units, which will boost my Navy, and the Navy damage decrease leads me to say I'm happy with this and it's gonna stay like that. And of course, here we go, another example. We have the F4 Army of 9%, which is a great stat. Fact is, I'm using this for my Navy. But of course, I have Navy Attack, which is fine. I have Navy DF, which is fine. And DF of all units, which will gonna affect my Navy. So there is no point to stress this one out, guys. And when it comes down to the middle chip, now granted, you should aim for the Seystone or the for Shamshir set, which is good. But you see a lot of players out there using all possible sets because they go one goal lower, which is these random stats, which are absolutely great. So let me give you the last reason why this is a very good approach. Because on top of this, you have to imagine you will not use this set 100% every time you are in a battle. Why? Because this set is attached to a heavy trooper, which you well know that sometimes is in healing. In other words, that's why this approach is absolutely super nice. So now, beautiful people, I know exactly why you are here, because of the new set, which looks kind of great. It really does. Let's explain it first. So let me point you to the most important thing about this set. So when you are receiving a resistance, a heavy armor or light armor, you're gonna get 2 extra stacks. What is the resistance? The resistance, you have it on Snake Eyes, and I'm gonna show you that in a second on that level 7 and what exactly that does. But you also have the resistance on the yellow heavy trooper, which is a bubble. And he has 4 layers, or 4 bubbles in other words. So using this middle chip on the yellow heavy trooper will actually gonna push me from 4 damage, which I can absorb, up to 6. Now this sounds great, but also with the battle reports, you're gonna see there is also a workaround for that. So a great tool, but it doesn't mean you need it tomorrow. That's the point. So let's finish by also mentioning the heavy armor, because this is gonna affect the new heavy trooper. The heavy armor it's a shield which will gonna reduce the damage from your opponent's hero procs, which is the highest damage in game, which is great. And of course, the light armor is just gonna reduce the regular damage you are receiving from your opponents, which is a kind of a sweet thing, but not something extremely important. It's sweet to have. Good. So let's go to Mr. Snake Eyes, because this is super important to see, and we're gonna see Snake Eyes in a battle report together with that new set. And here is the resistance right here. And what's gonna happen here? Mr. Snake Eyes will gonna give you 1 time per battle a bubble, which will gonna absorb 1 time a damage. Now it doesn't matter if it's a regular attack or a hero proc. Of course, if you get to absorb a hero proc damage, that's the best trade you can get for this resistance. So if we have slots 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 with a bubble, means if you put the heavy trooper, doesn't matter which one, if you put the heavy trooper, for example, on slot number 2 with that new chip set, what it means is at the beginning of the battle, your slots 1, 3, 4, 5, and 6, we're just gonna have 1 single bubble. You receive a damage, the bubble goes away. But the slot number 2, on which this heavy trooper will be with this set, is gonna get 3 bubbles. So 3 attacks will be cancelled, more or less. It's 0 damage. Again, if you're using the yellow heavy trooper, that's why we're gonna go now into a battle report to show you exactly that how that looks like, and also to highlight the workaround. So let's go into the work exercise, and we have here Mr. Darth, which I simply don't have enough words to thank him for this massive help with this test. Now, what I wanted to show you here is the result is irrelevant. It doesn't matter. What I wanted to show you is something else. You're gonna see Mr. Darth. First of all, this is just a level 5. So you won't see that triple bubble on his heavy trooper, but you see him using the yellow heavy trooper, and you see him using exactly this. So how does it look in the battle? That's why we have to go into the battle animation. And what we're gonna do, we're gonna go to the 4th round. So how is this immunity of the yellow heavy trooper actually works? So when the heavy trooper first drops under 30% HP, then he is gonna apply that bubble, which will gonna block or negate 4 attacks in my case, in which I am downstairs. And because Mr. Darth is using the new set chip in the middle, he is gonna block 6 attacks in total. So in other words, if you look upstairs, Mr. Darth Yellow Heavy Trooper is gonna activate that bubble when he is around between 8 and 9 units on that slot number 2, which is the Heavy Trooper, and in my case when I'm pretty much at the same level. So in other words, the workaround is actually pretty simple, because you often gonna see this in the battles, that you get to this point which is very close to the Heavy Trooper activating the bubble, but he won't, and at that point you're gonna get super lucky and you're gonna have your Gypsy, you're gonna have your Strikers or your heroes proccing and actually killing the Heavy Trooper, which gives him no chance to activate this mechanic, to activate these bubbles. So in other words, it plays literally no role if I have only 4 attacks which I can negate with that bubble, or if Mr. Darth can negate up to 6 of these attacks. I can bypass this with a little bit of luck. So that's why videos like this, dear beautiful people, are so important, because it shows you how great a set is, but it also shows you it's not 100% guaranteed. In other words, I'm taking the pressure off you if you're tempted to think you need this new chip set ASAP, because you don't. It looks great, but it's also a workaround for that. So anyways, beautiful people, I hope this was a very, very informative video. As always, if you have questions, please leave them in the comments. I hope it helped you a lot in order to understand how to approach this and how to set your goal properly. As always, beautiful people, I think I gave you more than 500 reasons by now for you to subscribe to this channel. So please do me a favor, take 5 seconds and check if you are subscribed to this channel. If not, do me a favor and please do that, because you're gonna motivate me to carry on to do such fantastic videos on this game Top War. And as always, beautiful people, don't forget to see me in the next episode.